somebody. I am somebody. I may be poor, but I am somebody. I may be on welfare, but I am somebody. I may be unskilled, but I am somebody. I am black, beautiful, proud. I must be respected. I must be protected. What time is it? When we stand together, what time is it? When we say no more yes about, what time is it? What time is it? What time is it?
Good evening, good evening, good evening. Once again, it's a conversation with HRap. Today I have an esteemed guest, guy that I grew up with. We're from the same community. He is the human personification of making your passion your purpose. He's the CEO. He's CEO to Hoop Till It Hurts, Michael Horton. Thank you for giving me some of your time. Welcome aboard, bro. How you doing?
I'm doing well, man. I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to speak with you and your constituents as well.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Today, as we do every time we do this, I have a myriad of podcasts, but today I want to highlight the people from my community. Anybody from my community who's making a dent in the chaos, the criminality, the debauchery, and the low self-esteem that permeates through our community, I want to put them on the platform and put them in front of the world so we can understand that people like you exist. According to the world, black men don't participate, black men don't love their children, black men don't love their community, black men don't give back. You are the dictionary definition. You are the antithesis of that. And what I want to do is put you in a situation to whereas the world can hear you, see you, and hopefully, if necessary, we can provide some form of support by showing up or providing information, providing funds to assist you in your mission. Tell the people who you are and what's going on so we can move forward.
Okay, well, as stated, Michael Horton is my name, but all through my life, I've gone by Skeet. Michael is a very common name, so everybody calls me Skeet. I grew up on the near north side of Chicago, the Cabrini Green community, participated in sports at a young age. I utilized sports as an opportunity to provide me an alternative to other opportunities, and particularly the negativity that was going on in the neighborhood. And I used that to catapult me to higher education and place me in a situation where today I'm willing to give back. I feel like as a young age, I created a narrative of giving back and supporting people because people have supported me, which is what led me to my profession, as well as my personal endeavors in which I support people.
Man, man, thank you for that. Because like you said, man, we had some wonderful people in that community. Me, at age 10, I moved into the community, 1980. I moved into the community, but I always went back and forth from the west side and north side. And as you stated, there were wonderful people in our community, old, young, and people, even people in our peer groups. There were uplifting people. We saw very positive images. And again, this is why I do what I do. Just like you have turned your passion into your purpose, I try to do the same thing. And I asked the same question at the beginning of the interview. What is your oldest and most fond memory? We'll walk down memory lane, letting people know who you are, where you come from, and then where you are currently and what the future holds for you. So please, if you will, let me know your oldest and most fond memory.
I would honestly have to say that my oldest and fondest memory that is connected to my way of life is a conversation that I had with my grandmother when I was very young. My grandmother, she had 8 children of her own, and she has a number that I can't even count right now in terms of grandchildren. And some of the people went on the other side of the fence, so to speak. Mm-hmm. And I think in a conversation with her, she just empowered me, saying that there was something special about me and that I should aim high. And so with that, I decided that I'm going to try life in another direction, right? In terms of staying away from the gangs and other social ills that was affecting the community as well as members of my family. So I would say that is the oldest and fondest memory because it got me started on the right path.
See, and that's the wonderful thing about grandparents, man. My grandparents had a profound. My grandfather, ironically, my grandfather passed away. The grandparents that I'm speaking of currently, they passed away at age 5 and age 8, and they did the same thing. That's the beauty in having grandparents, and because they create this structure and they empower you, and you don't even know you're being empowered. You just, I'm listening to the person who the whole family respects, and because the family respect them, you have reverence for them as well. And those are things I think we need to get back to. You know, you see on social media, it's not the way it used to be when our grandparents were here. And what we have to do is return to that mentality and way of life. Mm-hmm. With your grandmother, what are some of the things that you and her used to do, or some other things that you would talk about that gave you that energy, that gave you that vibe, that make you say, hey, I could do anything because she said
honestly, it was just the little things. When I watched my grandmother, I don't recall, you know, obviously by the time I was growing up, she was up in age, so I don't recall her having to go to work. But what I do recall is her taking care of many people on a shoestring budget, making sure everybody was fed, making sure everybody was clean, making sure everybody had clean clothes. And to me, that showed a lot of power. Like this, it wasn't even about money. It was about taking care of your loved ones with whatever resources that you had. So just the power that she possessed in terms of that. And then, although there was a lot of us, her doors were open to our friends, my cousins, and everybody else in the community. So it was like she was a caring person who didn't base her life on materialistic things or money. And so from that made me feel like no matter what I accomplished or whatever I was able to achieve, I'm already rich. I'm already wealthy. So I carried that with me throughout my entire life.
And see, that's again, man, these are the things I want to continue to highlight, because I personally feel that we've lost that. We've got into opulence. You know, I got a Mercedes. I have a $10,000 watch. I live in this high-rise building versus, you know, I say this on a regular basis to the people who are around me. I don't want to be a king. I want to be a person at the table. I want to be one of the knights of the round table, because you know one of the purpose of those knights is to help defend and uplift the community, and that's exactly what our grandmothers used to do. Like you said, man, we didn't grow up rich. We grew up. I tell people we grew up on the tracks. As people say, the other side of the tracks. If you went left when you was on Cedric Street, you walk right into millionaires and people who were on television, and I would see Bears, the Chicago Bears. That would you go right. It was a community on the right side of us, going south towards Division, and these people were good people. But every time you turn on the news, we heard that they were the worst people in the world, and these were our friends. And like you said, our grandmothers and our mothers, you know, they embrace each and every child in that community. I think that is the biggest, you know, that's the biggest obstacle to overcome, that love that grandmothers permeated. Now, as you're growing older, you said you chose sports to get away from the people, the street organization and the ills of the streets. Talk to me about that. How did you get into sports, and how did you pick the one that you chose that you fell in love with?
Okay, and it was a combination of following the right people, but then also looking at what's positive. So I went two ways. So my grandmother lived in the Cabrini Green community that we speak of. My mom eventually moved to the Humboldt Park area. So when I was around 10 years old, I went back to the Humboldt Park area to stay with her, but I still took the bus back and forth to Manir. And one of my cousins, he was a baseball player, and he introduced me to baseball. He took me to try out for a team. We used to practice out in the front of the house, and I became, I would say, pretty good at baseball. And that was when I was in the Humboldt Park area. So my cousin, he was revered in the neighborhood. Everybody kind of looked up to him. So I was like, I want to do what he's doing because I like people to look up to me too. And then, but as I traveled back to Manir, most of my friends were playing with the Demons. And the big thing for Manir was being on the basketball team. So in sixth grade, when we were allowed to try out, obviously I didn't make the team. I had no basketball skills, but I knew then, but I learned something from that. I knew then, like, this was the positive thing that was going on here at my school. and this was some of my friends did. I wanted to do this, but I'm not good at it. So I learned right away at an early age, then if this is what you want, then you have to put in the work to be that. So I worked on my game. And as I was starting to like it, come 1984, Michael Jordan's on the scene. I'm enjoying basketball.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, the basketball is doing something for me. And then to add to that, because there was a lot of phases in my life. So I wasn't a part of the Demons at the time, but they took a trip to New York. And one of my best friends, he told me, he was like, you should come play with us because we go out of town. I'm someone who had never been out of town with, my family said maybe when I was a baby, but I didn't go anywhere other than that. So I was like, I want to be a part of something that travels, plays sports, and has fun. So that's how it all started. So I started playing basketball. And I walked away from the baseball, and I thought I had a little talent in that, but I was getting better in basketball, and basketball became a popular sport. So that's why I stayed with that one.
And so, you know what? A lot of people assume you get Cubs, rah, you get Bears, rah. And I tell people all the time, because I speak to people all over the country, and through the baseball and football, I've been around the country, just like basketball took you. Chicago is a basketball city, you know. Yeah. And before, like when me and you came up, the Bulls were not the team. It was the Paul Blue Demons right in our community. And the ironic thing is, me and you were doing the exact same thing. Your mother moved away from our community in 1980. I took your slot in the community in regards to living, because, and I did we were doing the exact opposite. We were doing the same thing. I went to William E. Gladstone on the west side of Chicago. I never went to Manil. When I came to the north side, I was like, I don't want to leave my school.
Yeah, that's how it
was. Be on the bus, right? I was like, you gonna be on the bus then? Well, put me on the bus. So I caught the second bus to the west side of Chicago, and we were doing the exact same thing. And ironically, I was doing basket. It was the total opposite. I was playing basketball, and I thought I had some skills. And my cousin Vincent and Michael started playing baseball, and I was like, forget basketball. You know, I was like, and I'm left-handed, and everybody used to tease me being left-handed. On baseball field, it don't make a difference what hand you are. You know, so we had the exact same walk of life. And again, this is why I do this, because I want people to understand, as I interview people, we have more in common than we have separate. So this is another reason we need to be walking in the same direction and then moving forward, versus you go your way, I go my way. And it is a term that was fashioned in the 70s called rugged individualism, and that separates and dejects our community. We need to be working together. I need to be locking arms with you, and we need to walk in the same direction. Right. And what were some of the things that you really, really enjoyed about traveling? Because again, from our community, a lot of people don't even travel. Me and you know people who have never been outside their zip code or Cook County. What was the fascination with traveling that made you lock in with the Demons? And for those who don't know, Coach Carter, who's a friend of the show, he's been on several times. He's one of the coaches of the Demons, and he popularized it. And I did one of them damn jackets, and I never played with y'all. I'm mad. But talk to me about that experience.
Well, I mean, it's simple. I had never been anywhere. It was an opportunity to see other states, just to see how other people live. You know, and one of the things I found out is that you can move across this country, and things are different, but there are so many similarities, right? So you feel at home even outside of here. But I'm a traveler. I'm an explorer. I like to see other places. I like to talk to people of different walks of life. So just to going out is great for me. I like taking pictures of monumental things in other places. So to me, just doing that at a young age, it just sparked interest in me wanting to travel and see in other parts of the world.
Yeah, man. And again, that's what we need to be inspiring our children, because for whatever reason, our children assume that the hood is the only place to be. Yeah. And another thing that I really appreciate about you and Carter and what y'all are doing, Coach Carter, what Coach Horton and Coach Carter, what you guys are doing is you guys are triggering things in these young people's minds. You know, seeing outside of the hood. And one of the things that bothers me is we show the Kevin Durant's, we show the LeBron James, but there's some people on the end of those benches that are becoming doctors, lawyers, software engineers, and a myriad of other things. And you, believe it or not, dog, my coach was Jimmy Fields, God rest his soul. Okay. And I'm gonna share this with you. The reason I do what I do, part of the reason I'm as loyal as I am, is one simple conversation with Coach Fields. And I want you to understand that you having those conversations, you thinking, yeah, I helped them, and you doing your job, but bruh, you are doing monumental work, because I've never sat down with you and one of the children on your team. I've never done any interaction with you, but I do understand walking to the bus stop at night with Jimmy Fields and him talking to me about life and looking at him and how much he worked, looking at him working with us, and he would literally be drenched in sweat. We watched those things from you and Carter and other coaches. So I want you to understand the effect that you're having on these young people. And it is a true blessing to them. And it's one of the reasons you're as successful as you are. Now, as you travel, what are some of your favorite places to visit? And did those places and did those things inspire you to go to other places?
I'm going to answer that a couple ways. One of the things that I'm doing in terms of my life is I'm trying to touch all 50 states in the United States, right? And I have, I believe, 10 left. When I went away to college, I went to a PWI, but I didn't visit the HBCUs. So when I started out from being a part of a team, we were able to go to different places to play in tournaments. And that inspired me, because now that I'm working with young people, I want to be able to give them as much information about their choices and their future as I possibly can. So in order to do that, I needed to step foot on some of these grounds in which they would actually live on. So I had never been on a college visit or anything to an HBCU, but once I got out of college with my job, I visited over 30 HBCUs. So I was inspired by that, because that wasn't the route that I took. But as I work with young people, I want to be able to let them know, like, these are some of the advantages of these opportunities for you. So for me, I would say, from a personal standpoint, I really like New York. New York reminds me of Chicago. I actually have gone to New York several times, and I would just go in Harlem on 125th Street and sit on the stoop or stand at the corner and just try to immerse myself with the locals, just to see how people are living. And what I come to find out is that they're just like us, right? The slang is different. The dress is sometimes different, but they move the same, and they have the same. If you're on the right side of whatever it is, you have the same goals in terms of making and giving back. So that's one of the places I really like. But in terms of just visiting all over, I like going everywhere. I like everywhere. I don't want to leave Chicago in terms of my permanent resident.
None of us do.
I like visiting other places.
Yeah, you know what? None of us want to leave Chicago. I don't know what it is. It's like we in jail, but it's a jail that we lock the door. We lock the door and don't let ourselves out. You mentioned HBCUs. I think I want to create a situation to whereas like people like you have a direct network to all the HBCUs, because again, man, it's easy to say I want to be a professional basketball player, but I feel that we need to start teaching our young people how to be coaches, how to be trainers, how to be team managers, how to be CEOs of not CEOs, athletic directors and things, and CIGs, people in all those positions, because it's only 420 American basketball jobs, but there are thousands, tens of thousands of positions for our young people to get into. How is it that you think we could expand that door for HBCUs, connect with the HBCUs, whether they be in the South or the Southwest or the Midwest, like what is it in Ohio,
Wilberforce? Yeah, my niece graduated from there.
Oh man, congratulations to her. How is it that we can reconnect with that? Because that used to be a thing. We were definitely trying to go to HBCUs.
Well, I'm gonna actually because we talk about, we started this conversation. We talk about some of the greatness that has come from our community, right? And I'm gonna give her a shout out, a big up. I know that there was a time when a couple of people, Bernard McCune, Craig Nash, and then Justice Stamps. I know that they would always provide opportunities during spring break and otherwise for young people to go visit these HBCUs and give them that exposure and open up other options for them to attend post-secondary education. I think in order to get that back, it's funding. It's funding. I think people have it in their heart. They have a passion to do that. And of those people that I named and possibly other people, they have those connections. It's just a matter of the funding to get those young people to get this exposure. The families obviously do not have the means to do that. The travel is a lot more expensive nowadays. So again, I think if there's a way that funding can happen, there are people in place that can actually get it done.
Man, and that's what we're gonna have to work on, because when we were younger, you had the coaches that I don't know where they were getting the money from, because when I look back and go, man, you paid for the whole team to enter this tournament. It was amazing. But you had people like Coach Mike Maiden on the South Side, Coach Jimmy Fields, Coach Willie Green, and they paid for everything for us. So again, like you give back, I think it's time for the community to start giving back to these children instead of just always saying. It is one of the things that grinds my gears when people talk about these young people as if they've made decisions on their own. If we're not pouring into them, why are we expecting wonderful flowers to pour from within them? We're not giving them, so they're not giving out that. So now let's go back to you. What high school did you attend? Because people don't realize that in Chicago, you pick your high school, your neighborhood does. In most instances, your neighborhood picks your high school. What high school did you attend, and what made you go there?
Sullivan High School. It seems like all of my stories are filled with irony and happenstance. So when we were leaving Lanier, obviously playing basketball, and one of my best friends, my brother, Bud was our best player, obviously, and Alan and Sammy, Bruce, and so what happened was, most of this is when it was a big thing to go to the Catholic schools, and the Catholic schools were coming in, watching our games, and they were recruiting them to come to their schools. I had no idea where I was going to go to high school. And so back to Mr. Carter, who was very pivotal in a lot of my success. He was working at Disney Magnet on the north side, and there were a couple other people who played on the Demons who went to Sullivan. And Sullivan was starting the Paideia program. It's a college preparatory academic program. I was a solid student, and I wanted to play basketball. So he said, well, you guys should go to Sullivan to kind of help out Derek Brewer. That's who was a student at the time that was there. And so I still didn't know. I knew I didn't want to go to Lincoln Park because a lot of members of my family went to Lincoln Park and wasn't successful. Near North was up at the time. I didn't want to go to Near North because it was right there in the neighborhood, and my cousin was there. And I was like, no, I want to do my own thing. So at 13 years of age, without really the input of my parent, I decided, Bud's aunt Rosalind actually took me up to Sullivan to take the test. I passed the test, and then I just enrolled at Sullivan. And the rest, as they say, is history. I just, I had an opportunity to go to school with some of my friends from the neighborhood. I went to a program that was, from an academic standpoint, it was a good program. It was in its initial stages. And then I had an opportunity to play basketball. So I thought that was the right place for me.
Man, again, see, man, this is a situation to whereas our lives is doing the exact same thing. You in our neighborhood at Lanier, I'm on the west side of Chicago, thinking the same thing. I was like, my mother was like, you going to Lincoln Park? You going to Lincoln? I'm like, I don't want to go to Lincoln Park, because Miss Adams on the west side, she sold me this dream that you were going to meet all these wonderful people. High schoolers. She was like, the friends that you have now, you might not even be talking to them in 4 years. And, as a kid, you're like, yeah, whatever about that. But I mean, first and foremost, it's the girls. Like, hold on, we're going to see a whole nother set of girls. I had no concept of Lincoln Park being this massive place that I would literally be running into thousands of people. I messed around and went, they used to take you to the schools. And went to Westerhouse. Westerhouse used to be a factory. Oh, listen. This joint is gigantic. And I'm like, and then when my mother signed me up in Lincoln Park, I'm like, man, it's just a little bigger than my school, man. And I'm thinking, I ain't gonna meet nobody new. I'm like, Bud, one of your closest friends, is he for me? And I'm like, I'm gonna be hanging with the same cats. I ain't gonna meet nobody new. I don't want to do this. And I just pouted for the first time in my life. I pouted my way out of something. Because usually, you know how our parents were. You gonna do this, and you ain't gonna have no other choice. And man, I went to Westhouse. I like academically, yeah, Lincoln Park probably had the more financing and things of that nature. But like you said, man, when you went to Salt and I went to Westinghouse, it was a better experience for me. It made me a better person, and the people in the institution and the institution itself was better for me. And then I was able to chase my dreams, just like you. We both continued to higher learning. Now, tell me about Sullivan. Some of your favorite things about Sullivan High School, and what helped develop you there.
I think there were some people who cared about us. There was a couple of teachers that I can name that I felt like took me under their wing and was an extension of like my parent, you know, to keeping me straight. Miss Starlin, Miss Slack, and then, like I said, from an academic standpoint, the Paideia program, we didn't have study hall. That's when everybody else had study hall. We went straight 1 through 9. We had to take honors classes, and we had to take core classes. Like we had to take every core class in every subject. So, for example, in science, we had to take 4 sciences, right? Where most people only had to do 3. So I think it prepared me for going to college. Again, I went to Sullivan with, man, it was like maybe 13 or 14 of us eventually from the neighborhood. So I was with my brothers going to school. So I had the best of both worlds. I had my neighborhood with me, but we went to school up on the north side. And of course, I had the opportunity to play basketball. And I wasn't the best player. We wasn't the greatest team in the city, but we had some success. We had some fun. And I feel like we helped develop a program that was kind of like on the downtrodden before we got there.
Yeah, man. And see, that's the beauty in high school and leaving your, because like me, like you, again, this is how our lives continue to run parallel. Some of the guys said I went to elementary school with like 8 or 9 of them went to Westhouse. I didn't know my whole purpose in going to Westhouse was I don't want to go anywhere where I'm gonna see some of my friends. I'm gonna see my friends. I'm gonna stay on, I'm gonna still hang out on the west side with my friends. I'm gonna still come up on the north side and hang out with Bud. I'm gonna hang out with Eric Brown and everybody else. But I'm gonna have a whole nother world that I could talk about. I show up at Westinghouse. 8 or 9 of my classmates are at Westinghouse. I got them just like you. I had those guys, and like you, I had Miss Nelson, Ray Shannon, Stanton Payne, Miss Reed, and so forth and so on. And this is the beauty in our community here in Chicago. You really only like 5 or 6 people away from knowing the whole city. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it helps you. It helped develop you and put you in a better situation. And I want to focus on what you said. You said you wasn't the best player, but you had your academics in line. Where a lot of people don't focus on academics; they focus on athletics. What steered you? What helped you stay on both sides of those tracks? One side is academic, one side is athletics, and what kept you in order in regards to that?
Man, this is going to be the probably the answer that you least expect, but it's the truth. I just didn't want to be poor. I just didn't want to be poor. So I said, I have to figure out a way to get me a lifestyle that's stable and I can do some of the things that I want to do in life. I just didn't want to be poor anymore. And so I was like, I got to work. And toward the end of my high school, and I had a son. My son was born my freshman year in college, but obviously he was conceived like in my senior year. And so I just like, not only do I not want to be poor, I don't want to screw up the life of somebody else. So I was straight focused. I'm like, I did some knucklehead things, and I really feel like, I honestly feel like, and I've said this to several people on several occasions, I feel like had I had the support and I had the mental fortitude back then, I probably could have been a doctor or a lawyer, right? But I know, you slack off, you don't know any better. You feel like I'm doing okay, and that's enough. But I never got to a point where I slipped below what some of my expectations were. But I know I didn't achieve my potential academically as I should have.
And you know what? That's, again, me and you were, dude, like I said, I used to see you and make Mickey Locke, God rest his soul, and the other brothers from the neighborhood hooping. because, you know, baseball and football was only a short period of time. Y'all hoop 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And it's amazing how me and you had the exact same lifestyle, because my mother used to be on me all the time, and I would only do enough to get her off my back. You know, and the funny thing is, see, I didn't even know didn't cross my mind until we were 24. And it was on my mother's 24, on my birthday. 1994, my mother's birthday, December 13th. I gave her a gift. It was the first, because I had got a job that I didn't have to save at that point. Now, because my mother's birthday is December 13th, and then you got Christmas. This is the first time in my life I had enough money to go, I'm gonna buy you this, and I'm gonna buy you that. I get you something else for Christmas. And I got her something, and she said, you know what? I never had this. I was like, you've been buying me that since it was a leather jacket. You've been buying me that since I was 10. And she was like, yeah, they didn't come and buy adult, get a child size. Buy a child size, get an adult free. I bought it for you. In that moment, bro, my whole life flashed in front of my eyes. I was like, all the time she said no was, I can't afford it. I didn't even realize, and this goes back to your grandmother. They were working such magic that you didn't even realize you were poor. And just like you, the year before that was my first year having a child. And like you, I was doing knucklehead stuff, me and Tran and those, we was doing this hip hop thing, and I was DJing. And my whole thing, I was gonna be Jam Master Jay. But the moment Nicole said, I'm pregnant, my whole life is, I can't be a failure. I had a better life than I didn't live up to my potential. And I yell at my son about it to this day, 32-year-old dude. I'm yelling at him every day. And it's like you said, man, all I can do is make this better. And those things help put you in a position that you are in now. Now, hoop is your passion. I can't be a failure. How did you end up with the community activism and uplifting of children?
And I'm gonna ask, I don't know if you know what my professional job is.
Okay.
But what I did was, when I was young, and I'll use, like I said, I mentioned some names before, the Carters, McCunes, Craig Nash, those type of people, and even my friends, like Bud, Roger, like all of my friends, we were so close. And because of the situation that I was in terms of life, right? I didn't have a lot of things, but people looked out for me, right? And so I always knew that I wanted to give back. I wanted to be in a position where I can help other people because people helped me. So I created that narrative a long time ago. And so what I did was I took that into my professional life. I'm actually a counselor at Wells High School.
Okay.
So even in my professional, I'm trying to work with young people to help them get to where they want to be in their lives, push them, motivate them, provide resources. But then from that aspect, after doing that, of course, I want to support people who are not at my school, right? And so part of that is, what is that?
That's it. Don't worry.
Why is that beeping? And so, so what I want to do with that is, again, it's just giving back, and because people did that for me. So I created the foundation for people that play basketball, because now basketball is so expensive, and the people obviously the ones who don't have to pay are the ones who are actually good at it. And so I just want to give back to kids who are like me, not the most talented, but I have a passion for this. So I don't want you to miss out on an opportunity to be a part of something that may help you figure out your future. Because here's the thing. You may have a coach, a volunteer coach that may be, I don't know, he may be a business person in the real estate. He's not prepping you for the NBA, but you might learn something about real estate or business that you didn't know. So again, that gives you another avenue, another option to achieve some of your goals. So that's why I do it, to keep people in the game as long as they possibly can, so that they can have these mentors for as long as they possibly can to guide them to reaching whatever goals they have for themselves.
And that's the beautiful, man. Thank you. First and foremost, thank you, because I always assumed I knew that you worked at Wells. I thought you were a coach. That's one of the things that just permeates when I look at other coaches and other people in the community, because we got people that are resourceful and where they can be used as resources, and we don't even know that. I tell people all the time, the greatest gift football and baseball ever gave me is to let me know I played corner. I didn't have to be LT. I didn't have to be Richard Dent. I didn't have to be Walter Payton. I could be the very best cornerback I could be. And to be the very best cornerback I could be, I need, like to say, if you and Bud and Macy and whoever else, Eric Brown was on the team, I couldn't be good unless I made sure you were covered. I could be good unless I made sure Bud was it. Like Bud playing linebacker, I'm playing DB. I couldn't be a good DB unless I cover Bud's back. And it's something that I carried into corporate America. I used to work for a media organization called Reuters. And the Washington Post, and it really disturbed me when they would go, no, you can't help them over there because they're not on our team. But I'm like, we in this building together, and right. and what you're talking about is allowing the dude who's the real estate agent, allowing the dude who's a doctor, allowing the dude who's a finance major to inspire you and let you know, hey, just because you're not Michael Jordan does not mean you can't be somebody. And I appreciate what you're doing because counselors are needed, coaches are needed, mentors are needed, mentees need all of those things. And it seems to be lost in the sauce because everybody wants to chase LeBron James. But at the end of the day, which one of y'all gonna grow to be 6'8" with a 40-inch vertical and can be a 40-inch vertical and can run like a deer for 25 years? Not me. And that's the beauty in what you do. That's why I wanted to salute you and bring you on. So what led you to creating your organization?
Okay, I was going to go back. You asked me about what are some of the best things about going to Sullivan, but one of the things that was not so good for me was my counselor. I met with my counselor twice when I went there to take the test and when it was time to get a final transcript when I graduated. So I don't feel like they did a good job in that area, which is why I chose to be a high school counselor. I don't want that to be the students that are at my school. They're going to see me. They're going to hear from me. They're going to spend time with me. Because the more I know about them, the better I feel like I can support them, right? So that's how I did that. In terms of my organization, Hoop to the Hurts, the foundation that was created, I was coaching with the Demons. I came back to my community to give back, and I was coaching the kids in the area. But I wanted to do more, right? That was something that Coach Carter created, but I wanted to do more. I figured if I can do something additionally, more kids can be supported. So I decided in 2018 to walk away from coaching. I'd given the Demons 25 years of coaching. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna move away and do my own thing. What I really wanted to do was just sell merchandise, right? I was gonna do shirts, shorts, and sell that to make money. And then one of the kids that I was coaching, again, with me just being around basketball, I'm coaching kids. So I meet a parent who lives on the other side of North Avenue at Mohawk. So okay. And he's like, what are you going to do with this Hoop to the Hurts? And I was like, well, once I stop coaching, I'm going to try to build the brand. And he's owned, sold, bought, traded multi-million-dollar companies. So he's like, I can help you with that. So me just being around basketball connected me with someone with a business acumen, right? And so and he's like, well, he introduced me to some people and he said, well, one of the ways that we should do this, he's like, I know that you want to sell things to make money, but I can just hear from you that your passion is that you want to give back. He's like, let's start a foundation so we can use some of the proceeds to help young people continue to play the game. And so that's what we did. So we hosted camps around the city, in the suburbs, providing opportunities for kids to play basketball. So again, some of those were 1 day or 2 day camps, but it gave them an opportunity to feel confident about the development of their skill set so that they can maybe make their fourth grade team or just stay in the game. And again, get connected with a coach who might help them take that next step. We've paid fees for kids to participate. We bought uniforms for teams. We've paid for tournaments. So it's a lot that we've done. And, I take pride in that because, like I said, people have helped me every step of the way, even now, as I just mentioned. So it's only right that I give back.
Man, thank you to your business partner. And that's the purpose of this. Again, to let young people know if you're not active, you will be missing. Like my pastor always says, blessings are flowing. There will be no blessings missed. You may miss the blessing, but the blessing is going to flow down and somebody else going to get it. So if you're not active, if you're not doing something productive, you can't expect to get that blessing. And you are the dictionary definition of it. That is working your behind off, giving. And then without looking for anything, somebody gave to you. It basically puts you in position to be unstoppable and also to be uplifted. And that's our job. You know, we want to be uplifting. We want to be a positive impact on the community and on people in general. I always say, you know how they say a rising tide lifts all boats. It's our job as human beings to be that tide. And you, bro, are that tide. You are doing wonderful things. I follow you on social media. I see you on Facebook. I see you on Instagram. And I watch from afar because it is important that we do these things. Now, with the giving and the handing out and the uplifting, how can we as a community help you?
I mean, just stay tuned to my social media outlets. So, I mean, the little stuff, and I'll tell you one of the things that the guys did for me. So I host camps, right? If we're doing basketball camps, I really appreciate, and I did one at Stanton Park, and I had some of the people come out. So like people that I went to elementary school with 40 years later, they show up. And you know what I do is I don't just do basketball. So we do the segment of training, right? And then so we give them a little snack break. We have conversation. I introduce the people who are there to support. And so again, it's about, I may have 5 friends who show up to support. One is a nail technician, one's a barber, one works at the hospital, one owns his own ice cream truck, whatever, right? So the kids are exposed to, these are careers that I never knew I could do. And again, like I don't take any offense to it, right? But when I tell people I work at Wells High School, the first thing people say, "Are you a security guard?" No. "Are you the gym teacher?" No. "I'm the counselor." "You're the what?" "You're a counselor?" So the shock in that. So again, I try to use my platform to expose young people to all of these things. Right? They get to see like, oh, wow, that young lady's a sheriff. Like, so like, oh, maybe I can do that. Right. Mm-hmm. So again, to answer your question, if anybody wants to ever come out to anything that I'm doing, support that. We have our Hoop Till It Hurts Foundation.org. People can go there and purchase a shirt or make a donation. And again, like those proceeds go back to supporting young people who are doing, who we're hoping to do wonderful things.
Man, thank you for what you're doing. And you know what? When I end the show, I want you to hang on for a second because I have an idea that I've been cooking in my head, and I don't know how to get it off the ground, but I would give it to you because you're already doing it, and I can afford you some assistance with that idea with the people that I know. With that being said, I want to first and foremost, I want to thank you, bro. Because me and you, we were missing each other for literally a whole year. We were missing each other. Yeah. I want to salute you again and put you in do anything I can. Like if you ever say, I want to do this, I want to promote this, and I need kids to come out, I will come on. Just even if you just need 5 minutes. Hey man, I need this 5 minutes. I'm traditionally on every day. Okay. So if you just say, hey, give me 5 minutes, you got those 5 minutes. And I want to salute you for what you're doing and salute you as a human being. Salute you as a brother, salute you as a man, salute you as a father, and most importantly, salute you as a pillar of the community because you should be saluted, you should be lifted up, and the whole world should see Michael Skeet Horton for the wonderful man he is today. Thank you again, man. I really appreciate this, and if you ever need to come back, let me know. I'm gonna end the show now, and then I need you to just wait in the green room, and then we'll talk about what I want to talk about, man. Thanks again. And is there anything you can say you need to say to the people before you go?
Well, there's we won't have time to speak on it now, but this podcast.
No, I got time. If you need time, go.
No, so this podcast and my presence in the community is going to reach some people, but to make sure that I reach the masses, I actually just published a book that talks about my travels. It's a book of empowerment, motivation. It's not an autobiography, but it shows my resilience. And I'm hoping to inspire those young people that are going through tough times to understand that you can actually still reach your goals. So Hoop Till It Hurts, the book, will be out on all, and I'll give all the links and all the information on my social media platforms.
Tell you what, do me a favor. When your book is getting ready to get published, come back.
It's already done. I'm just waiting on the final links for it all of it to hit the streets.
Okay, well, if you want to, come back. So, because I literally have 400,000 people that tapped in the last 45 days.
Okay, we can definitely do that.
We can do that. With that being said, man, thank you again. Stay on. I'll be right back, and then we out. And man, thank you guys for tapping in. Hit that like, hit that share, subscribe if you haven't. This is Michael Skeet Horton. Y'all know me, Brian HRap B. Williams. I'll be back later this evening at 8:30 doing another episode, and I'll see you guys tomorrow and the next day. And continue to be who you are. Stay blessed. God bless you, and have a great.
I think oftentimes we as people, Black people especially, are taught to go above and beyond all the time, and I think a lot of times we do that with our capacity. We do it in relationship. We do a lot to prove that we're loyal, that we're trustworthy, and all of that. And we'll pour until we got nothing left, and then we'll try to keep pouring. And that's not just romantic relationship, because I think the habits we build outside of romance are what we take into romantic relationships. So make sure that like you're not out here pouring into folks and you ain't got nothing, bruh. Find people, find places, find habits that fill you up, bruh. And make sure you giving from people from your overflow, bruh. Don't be out here